Okay, so, okay, we're going into another video. Okay. Okay, I think it started. Okay. All right, so where was I? Okay. All right, so this started a new video, and just to let you know, this is a continuation of we're doing the peace and love message. Okay. All right, so all right, so to back up, um, okay, sometimes, okay, so we were talking about hopefulness, and you might want to go back. But if we are in energy that we've been practicing that isn't anywhere near happiness, right? You can always at least get to neutral or that hopeful place. Okay, so then we were talking about some other things here. And you can't force energy on people, but by your own demonstration, okay, we can move mountains. Okay. Right? It's okay, so then if you're Christian, it's like the faith of a mustard seed, right? Can move all kinds of things. Okay, so we're trying to, for some of us, right, getting to that hopeful place so that we can move from hope to faith to knowing. Okay, so, and that's what we were talking about here. Okay, so now let's keep going. Okay, so, so if you're interested, okay. Okay, so you might want to, if you want to do more, you might want to go back and these were the topics. Okay. All right. Okay. Now, what's interesting is the reason why these cards came up is because see how here it's like the yellow is friendship, right? And then these were, I feel like that red and orange was part of the what was causing the fighting and stuff. Okay, all right. But it can also be a bright sunset, right? Okay, or sunrise or sunset. Okay. All right. Ooh, that makes me want to go to the beach and watch the sunrise and sunset. Okay. All right, here we go. So we're doing body, mind, and spirit, and this is the peace portion. And then we're going to do the love portion. Well, this is love too, but that's how they presented it. It was like peace and love, right? Like from the 60s, but we're not doing the love-ins. We're doing it, we're doing it in a tarot form or oracle. Okay. Okay, let's pick two here. Okay, so what I'm getting here is today with this. Okay, now this is Indian. Okay, so I'm going to read the book part for you, but first let me channel. Okay. All right. All right, now with this, okay, now with this, what I'm picking up is like hypnotizing. Okay. So sometimes if you live in a nation, right, where they're feeding you information and you are receiving it, right? And imagine that over 10 or 20 or 30 years. This could be anywhere in the world. This is not a specific region. All right. And right. And so pay attention to what you're listening to, right? This could be, okay, let's say you only listen to sad songs or the blues, right? Then you do that over 10 years. That goes into the melting pot of creation. It's not saying not to do it, but maybe balance that out with some happy songs, right? Or if that's not your feeling or you don't like it, maybe spend, let's say you spent 30 minutes listening to sad songs. Maybe then the next 30 minutes, listen to jazz with no words or something like that, right? Okay. And in that way, I feel like, because what we focus on, it really does matter. It can turn into matter too, right? It can manifest. So, and part of the fun was being surprised by the co-creation that pops up in different parts of the world. But when there's a lot of energy practicing practicing all the certain things, right, that are less than neutral to positive, then what happens is we get surprised by the things that are charged with negative energy. Okay, so let's take a look at that, right? Okay, and one person can make a difference of what shows up in the physical world. So all it takes is for everyone to come together in their own energy, okay, aligning with that non-physical energy and then moving. Okay, so there may be some people who are in service to negative energy, and that's okay. And it's like moving in that unconditional love, right? And that takes practice, from tolerance to unconditional, right? Okay. But the dominant energy, I would suggest, is this kind of pure positive energy, right? And we can always line up with that. It's a choice. Okay, and it can depend on what percentage we pick that up from moment to moment, right? Because where we're moving our mind, our thoughts, our seeds of thought, right? Okay. All right, and we can always return back to center, right? Out of the mind, back into our loving hearts. And then start breathing. And then it's like coming back home. All right. All right, so Bhujangasana, Cobra Pose. Okay, so yeah, watch what you're being hypnotized with, right? Okay, what music, what vibrations are you being hypnotized with? Or are you, right? Just do a self-study there a little bit. Okay, now, okay, so let's go back to World War II, right? Okay, so right after there were babies born. And then they were kind of brought up in a framework of that past fear, right? Some children. And then they grew up and they passed that fear on, right? So it really matters how we're It's like take a look at what's manifested in the past and see where we can shift that energy so that we're not passing that on from generation to generation. Okay. Now the elephant is coming up, and I don't know if this is because of Ramadan, but there is the elephant in Ramadan, right? And in that message, there is trust that spirit is a great manager and that it is working things out. Okay. And this is the flow, right? And we could also be the cooperative component by aligning our own energies to that pure source, right? Pure positive. And if we don't want to do that, we could at least get to neutral. But neutral is the kind of the hermit, the slow momentum place. Okay. So if you want fast momentum, then you would move in joy, right? Okay. Satya, truthfulness. Yeah, learning how to tell the truth, right? And it can start young, right? Like, let's say someone asks you what you think about their dress or something, right? Sometimes the wise way might be is to not tell the truth, right? But you want to move in truth. So then what do you do, right? Okay. So you could change the subject. You could change the subject. You could train yourself to find one thing you like and the thing that you don't like and speak on it, right? And in that practice, if there's 10 things that you don't like and that one thing you do like, and you train yourself to go there every time, then imagine how you can change your own world, right? Yeah. Okay. And this is the body, right? We're talking about body, Cobra Pose, and truthfulness. And when we don't do that, it can affect the physical apparatus, right? And it can affect the mind, because then you might feel guilty. And then that is a lower vibration. Okay. All right. That can be a lower vibration, is feeling guilt. So we release all guilt, shame, and fear. Okay. All right. So let's see. Let's go to the Cobra Pose. 6. Okay. Now, you might have to do modifications, right, if you're doing this yoga. And YouTube has all kinds of helpful things there. Okay, so, okay. Bhujangasana is heart open and fearless. I love that. That is so nice. Okay, heart open and fearless. Cobra energy is calm, cool, and collected. Your body takes the shape of a cobra in this posture. Elbows are tucked in because snakes don't have arms. Your shoulders in this posture take the shape of a hood of a cobra. Imagine you have a fierce energy of a cobra with a laser-like focus. Okay, so Yoga Sutra. From this knowledge arises superphysical hearing, touching, seeing, tasting, and smelling through spontaneous intuition. Okay, and that's what's been happening through all the stuff that we've been experiencing the past couple of years. It's that people haven't been listening to their gut instinct. Okay, so it's like, let's return back to the heart and return back to center, right? Okay, and these are questions. How can you reserve your fire for battles worth fighting, right? And this has been coming through in a lot of my message since I started this. It's like, can we find common ground? Can we use our energy for more positive things, right? And it says, surround yourself with people who inspire intense nature. Where focus goes, energy flows. Affirmation, I am powerful when I focus my energy. Okay, yeah, and fighting can dissipate energy, right? Okay, so And that's why people have to regroup and recalibrate a lot of times after the aftermath, right? Because the calculations of fighting, and then there are those things that come after, right? Okay, so cause and effect. Satya. Truthfulness. Clear communications, no fear. Okay, so it's a lot of fear here. Okay, showing up in this reading. Okay. All right, so clear communications, and this has been coming up in readings since last year too. Open-hearted communication. Okay, Sat is truth. Ya is attaining. Okay, Satya. As the saying goes, an elephant never forgets. To one who lives a truthful life, there is room for spontaneity and joy. Satya reminds you to be real with the people in your life. Notice subtle ways you may bend the truth in your favor. Once you tap into living a truthful life, you'll feel a light, spontaneous kind of joy. Yoga Sutra. To one established in truthfulness, actions and the results become subservient. Okay. When is the last time you came clean and told a difficult truth? Not sure of truth? Listen and find it's rooted in silence. The truth will set you free. Affirmation. I live a truthful life and put down my heavy load. Ooh, yeah, that can be burdens, right? Releasing that. Opening up to the natural you. Okay. The truth will set you free. Okay, so now also they're giving me truth can be relative too, right? Depending on, some people are in different realities. So truth can be relative. Okay, so what looks like a non-truth to one person can look like a truth to another. So, and that is mixed in there somehow. They're giving that to me. Okay, so, but anyway, there is universal truth. And if we can align with that universal truth, okay, I feel like there can be peace. Okay. All right, so let's choose the mind stuff. Okay, let's see. Woo! Okay. Ooh, this is a good one for everything. Okay, yeah. Flawed premises can attract. Okay, so let's say you have a belief about something, right? What the universe can do is line up those things to prove to you that that's true, right? And because what you think is attracted to you, and even if it's a distorted thought, you can find in the reality things to prove that distorted thought. Flawed premises can attract. Okay, so it's like, okay, so let's say you feel like a group of people are out to get you, right? Okay. And then what happens is, because you're carrying that belief, then in the physical reality, in the physical world, things can show up to prove that belief. Okay, so it's important then to move that framework. Okay. Plant new seeds of thought, right? You don't have to move it. You can plant new seeds of thought that are neutral to positive to kind of trump that. Okay. True unwanted evidence. Yeah. So that's what happens. if you have a fear-based belief, and it's based on fear, it could be guilt, shame, or fear. Okay, if it's based on those things, then you can find evidence to prove it. Okay, so this can start even on a basic level. Let's go back to the family unit. Let's say you have a mother, right, that seems like she's out to get you, right? Okay, so then what happens is, because of that belief system, more things like it can be proven. Okay, so then you say, this is a guy. Okay, so, and then he said, see? Okay. And then that became the point, the focal point. And because the evidence showed up, then it was like, see, and then keep moving in flawed premise after flawed premise, from flawed premise to flawed premise. Okay, so I don't believe in error. I feel like all things lead to our expansion. Okay, so sometimes there's a slow path and sometimes there's a quick path. Okay, so we can get back on the quick path, right, by moving from neutral to positive. Okay, so if you're looking for evidence in the physical world to prove some idea in your mind, that's when it's important to meditate and go within if it's not so positive, right? Okay. If you were to hear a false premise again and again until yourself began to believe and repeat it, now your own activation of contradictory vibration would interfere with your sense of intelligence, and you would begin to attract evidence of your belief. Right. In effect, proving the false premise to be true. And so it becomes increasingly hard for you to call this a false premise when the evidence seems to be telling you that it is true. For over time, you come to believe it is true. Right? And we've seen this, right? From generations to generations. Okay. And being passed on, this kind of flawed premise, right? Going from flawed premise to flawed premise. Okay. All right. So take a look at that. Okay. That was nice. Okay. All right. Sacred gratitude. Reverent appreciation to prayer. Okay. Prayer can move things, right? And knowing how to pray is important too. Okay, and it's like, look at your prayer before you pray, right? Do you know what you're praying? Okay, so sacred gratitude and appreciation is a good way to move in positivity, right? And it could start by something simple, giving somebody something, right? It doesn't have to be big. It could be something simple, like a piece of gum or a piece of candy or something, right? Okay. All right, so, and that's see how she's feeling the vibration of the tree, right? Nature is a good teacher, a great teacher, and moving out of the 5 energy into a more natural state of being, okay, which is love and wisdom. River of blessings, release constraints. Okay, so yeah, it's important daily to release those heavy energies, right? And that can take, it could be a walk in the backyard even, walking with your dogs, right? Spending time with your cat. Okay. Moving in more playful energy. Not taking things so seriously sometimes, right? And then in that light energy, miracles can come in, right? So we've got releasing stress, constraints, those things that are heavy. And then move in appreciation, and then that prayers and appreciation can move us into the place that looks like miracles. Okay, ancient wisdom. And our ancestors are ready to assist us and help us. So ask, right? Ask. Okay, and then we can move into this idyllic times. Okay, so it's not reaching for some kind of nebulous utopia. This is something that's possible in everyday life, right? But it takes a collective effort, each human being aware of their own energy, right? And knowing what you're serving. Okay, idyllic times, a garden of paradise. Okay, so, and paradise can be just returning to your heart, right? Your loving heart, and moving that with wisdom. Okay, and I'll leave you with that. This has been the peace portion, and this is the second video, and now we're going to go into the love portion. Thank you.